I'm not. So give yourselves a woo. Woo! Oh, y'all are good. But you gotta get the hands going too. So okay, will you do it again? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right, and woo! Good morning.
Good morning! Yay!
Always fun. I'm so glad to have you back on again. It's been a little while.
Yes, it's been a while, but I'm glad to be back for a few minutes.
Yes. So good morning, everyone. We are glad to have you. If you would, as always, I ask you to put your name and where you live in the comment box. That would be great. And the other thing, I have a quick question for you, is that on my screen, I don't see Lisa, but I can hear her. So if you would give us a heads up, can you see Lisa?
Because I'll see if I can see me too.
I will. We can certainly talk as long as I'm hearing her. But if you let me know if you can see Lisa or not, that'd be great. So what did you say, Lisa?
Oh, I said I'll see if I can see me too. I'm looking for the live.
Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I guess you can go over to the Facebook. So it's live on LinkedIn and it's live in Facebook, except not in our Fun Fearless group because StreamYard's having some kind of issue with Facebook and the groups. They won't let us do that now. So they all keep changing the rules. You know, about the time we get things settled in, they start changing the rules. So
yeah, that's why. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I can't find it right now.
Say what?
I said I can't find the live. So.
Well, let's hope it's in the Delinda Lane page because that is where it should be for sure. I know that is. Let me do a little thing here. And if anybody's out there watching, you can make a comment and let us know if you can see Lisa or not. That would be it. Yes. So Lisa, I do see you. I switched over so I could see.
Okay, cool.
The Facebook. So yay! All right. So if there's some issue I'm having. So. Oh well, it is just great to be back with y'all today. Lisa and I did an interview for the podcast, the Faith Talk podcast. I figured out last night. I was having trouble distinguishing between the various things. So this is Faith Talk Live, and then we have the Faith Talk podcast. All right. And they'll be hard, right? Like, okay.
Yeah, that works.
That does work. I know. So it's like, okay, all I had to do was add the live on there. So we keep the Faith Talk live on Tuesday mornings and then the other interviews and things. And so Lisa's going to be joining in on those on the 5th Friday. So, there's 4 months a year that have the 5th Friday. So she and I are going to do something a little different on the 5th Friday. So this time, the whole interview is about an hour, and it's all on abundance. And we covered a couple of cool things yesterday that I thought, we need to at least take part of that and break it down and talk on Tuesday morning. So
that was just such a fun conversation.
Say that again?
I said it was just such a fun conversation.
Oh, yeah, it really, really was. Good morning, Miss Kathy. And she's saying hi to you, Lisa.
Hi.
Kansas City in the house. We love that. Oh, Karen's here too. So hello. So Lisa, I think let's just jump right in about the widow's mite. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go back and forth as we normally.
You're trusting I have enough memory to remember all this, huh?
Well, let's see. We're talking about abundance, and
yes.
Okay. So when the widow gave her 2 mites, what do you think? Was she just giving the last she had?
Yeah, we brought up the widow's mite because we were talking about everybody's mindset going to money when they think of abundance. And in the podcast, of course, we explored how abundance means so many more things and can help you in so many aspects of your life, having that mindset. But we explored, and this was the fun of that conversation, was learning from our own conversation and having some aha moments ourselves. was that the widows gave everything she had, and then you gave this profound insight, which was, well, she gave that because she assumed abundance, knowing that another mite was going to be in her future.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't give thinking that was the end and falling off the earth. She knew that God would give to her. So abundance is not necessarily the size of what you're, interacting with that money. It was that mindset and how that frees you up from all kinds of fears and things that hold us back. And I thought, it was one of those goosebump moments that you get where you go, wow, yeah, that's really profound. And that's it, you know?
Yeah, it really was. And so I put the scripture in the chat box. So if y'all can see the chat box, um, so I'm just going to read that because it gives us a place to be talking from. And Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury, and he also saw a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites. So he said, "Truly I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all. For all these gave out of their abundance and have put offerings to God, but she, out of her poverty, put in all the livelihood that she had." And I think sometimes we are afraid, we act out of fear and out of scarcity, which is what you and I talked a lot about yesterday, is that she did not. She gave out of faith. So I would say right off the bat, she definitely had abundance mindset. She gave. There was no fear, total out of faith. So giving out of her faith, knowing that God is faithful.
Right. Well, and it's, in my experiences in life, I've had a hard time giving to God and getting ahead on, that gift. He always blesses me. And again, abundance. This was what we were discussing yesterday, and it was really a fun concept in the sense that abundance is the answer to scarcity. That it helps you realize that there are some lies about scarcity of resources and how God will provide. And that's when we were talking about the miracles of Christ were always examples of not just what we asked for, but above and beyond ample to supply. And that pattern is met all throughout his teachings and his examples in the scriptures. So it just kind of wraps you in this warm blanket and makes you feel good.
Yeah, it really does. So we'll point out a few of the miracles. And the one of them, the feeding of the 5,000. And y'all, that was even more than 5,000 because it says 5,000 men plus women and children. My gosh, there must have been 8,000 or 9,000.
Yeah, I would guess.
Yeah, and he took that little bit, and in the one story, because there's the 5,000, and then there's the feeding of the 4,000, and the one. Okay, I keep sorry, I quite stopped just because I keep hearing something, and I'm not sure where it's coming from in my computer. I think. In any case, it was a little boy who brought his lunch. So for one of them, it specifies and says that the disciples found a little boy who had, 2 loaves, I think, and the fish. I can't remember the exact numbers on that, but he just had his lunch, and he gave it. So now, don't you think? Now, kids are different. They just kind of do. They don't think of fear. They're not in fear yet. They haven't been told that it's impossible. So he gave his lunch, and then Jesus took his little bit and fed those 5,000 plus people. Now, 2 things I see here is the faith of the little boy that he didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't try to figure it out. He didn't try to say, "No, Lord, this is just impossible. Now, you better tell me what you're going to do here." No, he just gave it, knowing, not even questioning. And then Jesus, like you said, over and above, he fed all of the people. And we see that again in the 4,000, when he fed the 4,000 plus, again, 7, 8, 9,000 people, where Jesus took what was given, the small amount, and multiplied it more than anybody could think. And it makes me go back to the scripture that says he can give you more than you could think or imagine.
Right.
So it's like, wow.
Well, and think of the lesson that the apostles were learning at that point too. I mean, when he's like, "Well, let's feed this crowd," and the apostles are like, "Yeah, right." Yeah.
Yeah, one of them didn't they set one of them, I don't know, maybe, said, well, there's no way, it would take a year's salary to buy food for this big of a group.
Right.
Thinking in our limited thinking, and Lisa, don't you think we do that all the time?
Yeah.
We doubt.
And that's why I think we should be like, remember Mary as mother, and I don't want to be all, scriptures about what we're talking about. It's just kind of an exciting topic, but Mary at the wedding, she knew. She was like, okay, can you like fix the wine problem back there? And but the rest of them did not have that abundance mindset. They didn't trust God that he could do that. And so it's like the contrast to, how do we live our life in that abundance mindset where we're stuck and we don't think there's any choices to be made. That's why we don't move forward. We're afraid that there's scarcity.
Yeah, we're that scarcity thought of, oh, there's not enough. If I give this away, I won't have enough. Or how am I going to pay my bills? Because there's certain times, I think we've all encountered it, when we really feel led that we are supposed to help someone or give something or try something, do something, but we act out of scarcity. Well, if I do that, maybe I'll lose my job. Or if I do that, I'm not going to have enough money to pay my bills. Or if I do that, so we hold back because of the fear, as opposed to just doing it out of faith, just knowing that God is always there. He's got our back, and that phrase, which I love, and I know it's one of Kathy's favorites, is, we can't outgive God. Just release it. Release whatever you have. And I know, because I've worked around women for, I don't even know how many years now, 25, 30, 40 years. I don't know. I'm such a young girl. It could have been more than that. But in any case, I just hear women talk so much about, well, I don't have anything to give, or I don't have any talents, and God can't use me. It's like it reminds me of the Christmas song, The Little Drummer Boy. He says, of all these things, but what do I have to give? Well, he can drum for the king. Whatever you have, whoever God's created you to be. So whether it's in financial gifts, what about your time? Can you give your time? Is God calling you to spend your time maybe in a different way? Because his blessings will overflow. Whatever time, whatever money, whatever that we have, he will multiply it. So if we will do what we do out of faith and that, like say, that abundance thinking, that he's going to be there. I mean, he just always is going to be there, and will take what we give and turn it into something wonderful.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I think that in an abundance mindset doesn't mean that we're not going to go through challenging times. And I've had challenging times, but boy, when I look back on them, there's still an abundance of things that I could have moved forward on in different ways. Like I said before, you're the one that taught me that abundance mindset. And as I embrace that really fully, it's not like everything in my life got ironed out, for heaven's sake. No. But what it did do was it opened doors, and it opened me to asking and to looking for it and expecting it, like your little parking lot story. And that was that impact on me, was like, yeah, I can look for front parking lots, spots where I can always park up front. That was my right to look for that. And I can say that I have to trust God in what he's blessing me with. But the thing is that ever since then, it really has just pivoted everything for me in terms of how things have gone. I would say that abundance has flowed into my life more freely, just because I was like, I accept that, and I don't have to live in that area of scarcity. And so things have increased. My ability to use my time has increased. My income has increased. just different things. My health has increased. Like I said, not always perfect. It has increased.
Right, absolutely. And I think too, it's just um, that. Oh, let me read here what Chelsea says. So good. Abundant thing is simply believing that God will do what He says He will do. It is absolutely, Chelsea.
Mhm.
Believing His promises that He is going to be there with us. And Scripture so often says one of the things that I pray for a lot is wisdom, because Scripture says, "Ask for wisdom, and He will give it to you." So I pray for wisdom a lot, because it seems like I'm always in situations with the family. I thought I really needed it when they were little, but now I realize even as they get older, we still need. For me, I still need wisdom and discernment, and He promises that. He says straight out, He will grant it. So, if we will take Him at His word, His love overflows. The abundance of love in your life, we're talking. We always tend to go down the road of financial, which is in there, but the other thing is also just knowing that the abundance of His love and His mercy and forgiveness. That in a when you look at the abundance of that, how that can change our lives when we
Right.
accept it. Just being open to accept it, and that we don't have to feel like we're worthy. We already are, because when you believe in Christ, when you accept Christ, you are His child. He is going to surround you with all of those things. And as parents, we know what that feels like, right, Lisa? We want to give good gifts to our children. We want to do the things for them. Now, again, it's not name it and claim it. We're not talking
Yeah.
about it, but it's the peace and the joy and the love and I think you really mentioned it, the peace, just that surrounding
Yeah.
us, living in a state of peace, no matter what's going on around you. The world can be in chaos, which it kind of is, but we can still have joy and peace.
Well, and I'll tell you the abundance mindset for right now, and I don't want to dive too deeply, but all the messages that we're getting, that there's not enough food, that there's not enough love to go around, the hate talk, and there's not enough oxygen to go. I mean, there's not enough water. There's not. I think that the world actually is given in abundance, and God knows exactly how many children He has on His planet, and I'm pretty sure He's would provide abundance if we would seek it as, a whole. I don't think we have to live in the fear mongering and the scarcity mindset that is set out there in, television land. I think that if everybody, if we would just start to open up and give. I don't know if you saw in Ecuador, one of the things that I think it's Ecuador that they're doing is he's taken the less criminals and taken them out of prison and put them in programs where they can build, create, and help. And it's actually creating an impact in the country. It's creating more abundance. It's a very interesting program, and I think that's the mindset I think we've got to move into, is that no, we can solve world hunger. We can solve the water problem. We can solve these things. We don't have to listen to all of that, and we can really think big, like like you're always saying, think big, dream big.
Yeah, and uh, I so agree with you. I think the world, society out there is trying, and they're doing a pretty good job of it, of programming us to believe that exactly what you're saying, that there's a lack out there. Because when you go down that road and you're afraid to do things, and you're living in fear, then you are not living in faith, because fear and faith cannot exist in the same space. So when you're living in fear and you're afraid to try things, you're afraid that there's not going to be enough, that fear there's not going to be enough water or food or enough money coming in to pay your bills, that living in faith, living in fear holds you back from the blessings of God. Because
It's a self-fulfilled prophecy,
yeah,
so to speak, because you hold back and then, oh, see, it didn't happen, you know. And so you've proven yourself correct.
Right. And but the good news is the opposite is true.
Yes.
So when we're living in abundance, when we're looking for the abundance, and looking just around you at the miracles that happen around us every day. Sometimes just walking and I see some of the most beautiful plants, that people have planted, the growing in nature. I think God shows himself so much through nature, and we can just see the beauty of it. And then, put that example into the rest of your life, because the truth is God has already given us everything we need. Now, certainly we have contaminated it and all of those things, but he is in control. Bottom line is, y'all, we all know that God's in control. And if we will just walk and live in that faith and believing in the abundance, John 10.
Well, but it only takes one person to change a lot of things. I mean, look at Christ's life, one person, Paul's life, one person. That abundance is enough. His power, his abundance is enough for us to take hold of it and really change things. So, I mean, if enough of us took on that mindset, I bet you the world would just be bowled over.
The part of that scarcity of the world teaching, that there isn't going to be enough, or we don't have enough. The bottom line is of what I feel that it's trying to do. The world out there has an agenda of wanting us to feel also that we are not enough.
And depend on them. Yeah.
That is the opposite of what God tells us.
Yeah.
We are enough. That he's already created us, each of us, with gifts and talents to serve him, to serve the world, to build the kingdom. And as we do that, and when we walk in that faith and that belief in abundance, and here's one of the things that, when the widow gave her last 2 mites, she did that believing she wasn't going to die. I mean, she was believing God was going to provide. When we do that as well, with whatever gifts, whatever talents that we have, when we do that, giving in the belief that he's going to take it and multiply it, I mean, that relieves a lot of stress, y'all. When you just give it to God and we just know and just believe in his abundance, then he can take it and do with whatever he is. And we are not responsible for the results. Well, I can't see how God's going to use this, or I can't see why would he call me this. Who cares? If he's calling you, do it and let him handle the results.
Yeah.
We just kind of want to control it all. I don't know. I guess it's something about being human.
Yep. Definitely. So, I mean, it's just an exciting topic because of how much it empowers you in what you're doing.
Yeah, it really does. The one of the other miracles so all last night I was thinking of the different miracles. I looked at one thing, when you Google things and you get all these answers, said there were 37. Now I don't know if that's exactly right. If there might have been 30 and whatever, but according to this person, there were 37 and listed them all. And that was when I was reading down them. I also thought, think about that. I just thought this was cool. Mary and Martha. Okay, Lazarus was really sick, right? And they sent a message to tell the Lord that their brother was sick and please hurry and come to heal him, right? Well, Jesus didn't come right away, and then because he had a purpose. And I think again, just if we will realize, let's let God take care of his own purpose. So the abundance was that God not only, Christ didn't go there while he was sick. He waited so he could show his glory and give them abundance of giving his life back. Jesus raised him from the dead. Now that's a pretty abundant thing right there.
Exactly.
They couldn't even imagine, but they inquired, wanted him to come in there, but God always delivers more. They wanted a healing from illness, and he raised Lazarus to life, and that was pretty cool thing. And I think as we go through and we look at that, so if Jesus is always delivering more, when we are willing to give, I think it's that obedience, and we're willing to give with whatever we have, our time, our money, whatever other resources we have, then stepping in to his abundance and just letting him take it and do what he wants to with it. It changes how we live our life, I think.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is whether you have a scarcity mindset or whether you have an abundant mindset, you still have the same set of assets.
That's right. That's right.
But the funny thing is that with the abundance mindset, God adds, and with the scarcity, we hold back His gift. So it's interesting that one produces from the same set of assets, one produces more and one produces maybe nothing or stays the same.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I was looking up the fruits of the Spirit this morning because I think when it comes to abundance, God really wants to give us more of the fruits of the Spirit of peace and joy. I had to write this. So I'm going to have to do this in a rhythmic pattern so I can always remember it. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Think of those gifts, and if God gives those to you in abundance so that you live in a state of peace and that you have joy whenever the world has chaos around you, that kindness that we can share with others, all of those gifts that we can share with the world because of God's abundance. And it makes waking up every day exciting.
It does.
So as my friend Nancy White says, when her feet hit the floor, she says, "Good morning, Lord. What do we get to do today?" And I love it. What do we get to do?
I love that too. That's awesome. Sometimes my feet don't hit the floor and my eyes are a little droopy in the morning, but oh well.
Yeah, I like laying there for a little while. But it's like, okay, so Lord, use me today, or just,
Yeah.
So having a mindset of abundance can make all the difference. It'll give you those fruits of the Spirit that you want. Gives you the really just more than we could think or imagine.
Yep.
We allow that to happen. So let's see. So Barb, good morning. God's economy is opposite of the worldview. Boy, is that the truth. And so I appreciate all of y'all being here. We are at the top of the hour. You'll have to tune in on the last Friday of August is the 5th Friday. And Lisa and I go through many other examples and that contrast between abundance and scarcity and living in faith and not fear. So we just expand on it more than what we did this morning. And it's just such a great topic in learning about it. Like I said, she and I had several. I've never really thought about the widow's mite. It was always what God, what Jesus said about her, but I had never really seen. It was just like God just gave that to us yesterday, that she gave out of faith, not in worry, not in fear. She just gave it. And then He recognized her for it. I'm sure she didn't expect to be recognized.
Yeah.
So recognize, and then He provided for her whatever that looked like. So, well, Lisa, hey, thanks for being here today. It was great to have you back on again. Any last word?
Just that abundance mindset can help you get through all kinds of different things. Relationships. It can help you in your jobs. It can help you in your spiritual closeness to God. His, thinking of His abundant forgiveness and mercy. And it just helps in build all kinds of things. And to me, it's a shield against the really dark thoughts that are kind of pelting us lately. That a lot of them have to do with scarcity, which I feel is a lie. So anyway, that's my 2 cents about it, because I think it's just it helps my energy anyway in this crazy world.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, my friends, one last thing is I always end, but this so fits our topic. So remembering that life's not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. Choice is the big thing about everything we do, I think. But remember that you do have a choice. So choose abundance. That is a choice. Choose to live, choose to have that mindset of abundance so that you can flourish and have peace and joy in all those gifts. So thanks for being here. Love you guys. See you next week on Faith Talk Live. Bye now. See ya.